the wishes and the decisions of the EFF to him. Key amongst others included that we will not participate, as I've indicated, in the government of national unity, because that is a plan B for the Oppenheimer family. We will not participate with the DA and the Freedom Front in the same cabinet, where NSFAS is going to be converted into a student loan, where minimum wage is going to be scrapped, where the gains of 1994 are going to be reversed. We said to the President this morning that despite the fact that we are not participating in the cabinet, will however request him to ask the ANC to support our candidate for the Speaker of Parliament. And in exchange for that, we'll support the ANC's candidature for President, because we believe that the party which got the highest number should indeed be the party that leads. If they refuse to give us the Speaker, we are prepared to take the Deputy Speaker on condition that the Speaker candidate is from the ANC or from any progressive party, not the DA or the Freedom Front. We further indicated to the President that we are willing to participate in all the committees as chairpersons, and we are not obliged to get as many committees as possible. Whatever the ANC feels comfortable with can allocate those positions to the EFF. We said to the President that we are going to request the ANC to stop its paging of MMCs of the EFF at all levels until this kind of engagements are resolved, because they are poisonous. We further emphasized to the President that MKP got 45% of the votes in KwaZulu-Natal, and if the principle is he must be supported to be president because he's got 40% of the votes, the same principle should apply in KwaZulu-Natal. And if the ANC has not had engagement with MKP and feels strongly that it will not vote for the MKP, the most advisable thing to do will be to abstain. I indicated to the President this morning that any other move outside the MKP is a provocation to the people of KZN. And we must not blame them if they're to react to what these reactionaries would have agreed to undermine the direction which the people of KwaZulu-Natal have given. We have made it very clear to the President that we are not against the government of national unity. We are against the inclusion of the DA and the Freedom Front Plus, because that represent imperialism, represent racism and white supremacy, represent backwardness. And I must indicate that I've stated categorically to the President that the Speaker we are requesting for and the chairpersons of committees will not include me. I will not make myself available, because I know part of the difficulty they have is with my name. And if that will compromise the government of national unity and a stable parliament and government, I've since withdrawn my name from all possible positions in exchange for a stable government and the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. We have sent the name of our national chairperson as a speaker, Veronica Mente, alternatively as a deputy speaker, and our deputy president as the chairperson of the finance committee, as the most qualified and long-serving member of that particular committee. And the rest of the other committees, they will allocate us and will be able to do the necessary deployment at that particular time. This is where we stand in relation to the government of national unity and the negotiations we have had with all political parties, except political parties funded by the Oppenheimer family. We see this as a fight back by the Oppenheimers against the EFF for its position, which exposed them that they wanted to buy South Africa with the monies that they have, and they failed. This that you see today of the ANC, DA, IFP, and all of that is a plan B of the Oppenheimers to hijack our democracy. This is a clear fight back by the Oppenheimers. The EFF members must act with restraint and the highest form of discipline. They must not be easily shaken by forces of darkness. The EFF members must know that we are in for a big fight, and this fight is inevitable. We are ready for it, and they must not be scared or be intimidated by anyone. We ask and make a strong appeal to those who have uncontrollable ambitions for positions in government of national unity, not to do that in the name of the EFF. Ours is not an immediate achievement. Ours is a generational mission, and that mission will be attained in our lifetime. If this is our last participation in Parliament and in the legislatures, so be it. But history will record that we have made a contribution. We must not be so disparate to participate in government, including a government that is compromised and a government that is controlled by imperialism and foreign agents who want to exploit and continue to exploit the mineral resources of South Africa. All those who are now having uncontrollable ambition for power and are advised by those who have always opposed the EFF should ask themselves as to what interest do these people now represent when they speak like they want the EFF, when they've not, for a very long time, did not support the EFF. We know that we'll have family members, we'll have friends, we'll have business partners who see this as an opportunity for immediate accumulation. Let that temptation not be surrendered to. Let the discipline of the EFF reign supreme amongst the leaders and the members of our organization. We believe in the militancy and the radicalism of the EFF. We believe in the unity of purpose for the EFF, and we believe strongly that it is this collective effort and united forces of the left that will win against forces of darkness. I thank you.
Thank you, President. Question time, and I know there's going to be a lot of questions, the hands are up. So we're going to take a round of 7 first, and hopefully we will get to the point. If you covered, let's just say we covered, okay. So we're going to go number 1, number 2, number 3, I think that's Jamie at the back, number 4. Okay, let's go with number 4. We'll conclude with number 4 there. Number 1. A media house and your full name, please.
Okay, Lizega Tandwa, Sunday Times. Mr. Malema, can you perhaps share what was the President's reaction and response to you during this conversation? And just your own interpretation of what is happening with this GNU. A lot of people have been raised concern around Parliament not having, or opposition parties rather, not playing their role as watchdogs to the government of the day. Is this not an opportunity for you to play that role? What do you say to that?
Number 2 is over here. Swanila.
The name is Abdurrahman Khan. I'm from Muslim Matters newspaper. I think 2 years ago, CIC, you made a statement that the President Ramaphosa is a project of the DA. Can you expound on that, what you mean by that, and do you think this is what it is all about, this government of national unity, and they're now in bed with the DA? And secondly is, do you foresee the demise of the ANC?
Number 3, it was Jamie at the back.
Jamie Mighty from Africa Research Desk. My question is around funding. You've pointed out that the Oppenheimers have influenced the political outcomes by the discourse through funding of various political parties. It also seems that Michel Leroux of Capitec also influenced funding through some of his vehicles, which went to the DA. The question is more long-term, saying, and about going forward. How will these funding dynamics be dealt with in the South African democracy, considering that some of these billionaire entities also control polling companies and they also control media houses? For instance, we saw Naspers donating to 2 political parties, and they also own publications that are reporting on preferred coalition partners. So I wonder what the EFF thinks about that participation of money, but also how is that mitigated to give the general populace, which doesn't have billions, an equivalent say? Thank you.
Number 4 was here in the front.
Mishak Makora from Daily Sun. I would like to know from you, Mr. Malema, do you believe South Africa is ready for inclusive government and the proposed GNU by the ANC? Secondly, EFF shares common ground with the ANC, especially on the land issue. Don't you think being part of the GNU would assist to propel the country toward that direction?
Thank you, President. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Well, my discussion with the President were cordial, and he appreciated the EFF's offer and said that it shouldn't be very difficult for them to come back to us with a clear, definite answer. So after the NEC, I'm going to have a meeting again with the President to have a final detail of what is the agreement. And we see that as a role that we're elected to play. We're not elected to be government, that's why we don't have a majority. But if we play any role in Parliament, that's what we're elected to do. We are members of Parliament, we can be chairpersons of Parliament, we can be Speaker of Parliament. It's a responsibility which the electorate said, go and execute. So playing an oversight will not necessarily only mean that you must be in opposition and without any single position in the legislature or Parliament. We remain in opposition in positions of committees, in positions of deputy speaker or a speaker. And that even makes that committee to be more effective, because departments are no longer going to go there knowing very well that they're going to enjoy the protection of the chairperson. So that will give the EFF the most efficient and effective way of holding the executive accountable. And that's why we think there is no contradiction in doing that. The interpretation I've given to you, it's a plan B. The first plan was to buy South Africa through the funding of political parties. That's why there is a party change which was given more than 30 million. It ended up not participating in the election. Then Rise Mzansi and all kind of political parties given huge millions. And what did South Africans do? Rejected those millions. So this answers the same question. What are you saying about the future funding by these institutions which have got control over the research institute, which have got control over the media? South Africans are going to become more and more wiser, and they've demonstrated during these elections that they cannot be bought. They rejected millions. The Oppenheimers were dishing out money unashamedly. When we say Oppenheimers, we mean all of those people. Oppenheimer is a representative of those multimillionaire families of the Ruperts and the Minels and all of them, who have been pumping money to try and manipulate the political landscape in South Africa, and that has successfully failed. So what do? We retreat back to our traditional political parties and then unite them. The IFP is not an organization outside the Oppenheimers. It was formed by them. Who in his rightful mind will give Tlhabisa 20 million? Because he can't even speak to that 20 million himself. So why would someone say, yes, 20 million to Tlhabisa? To do what with it? Tlhabisa was given 20 million and then he was pushed out of the campaign. The campaign was run by the chairperson and the premier candidate of the IFP in KZN. I found Tlhabisa campaigning in Malamulele. I'm like, what is he doing in Malamulele? That's how much he was pushed out of the campaign. But the money was put inside the IFP because the IFP is an entity of the Oppenheimer family. You have all seen at the Prince Mangosuthu Buthelez's funeral, where no less than 4 members of the Oppenheimer family are in attendance. There is a video of them greeting President Ramaphosa at Prince Mangosuthu Buthelez's funeral. The Oppenheimers did not go to Mandela's family. They were not a factor in Mandela's family, a funeral. The Oppenheimers did not go to Obama's lecture in Johannesburg about Mandela, that memorial, what. They were not playing any role. But in the Prince Mangosuthu Buthelez's funeral, they played a prominent role. Why? The Oppenheimers wanted Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi to be the first black president of South Africa. They never believed in the ANC and Nelson Mandela. That's why when Nelson Mandela's first meetings outside South Africa, he was asked by Britain as to what is going to be the role of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi in your cabinet when you win the elections. So Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi and the IFP have always been the project of the Oppenheimer family. The DA, it goes without saying. They control it. Now, they've got hold on the president of the ANC, and the situation demands that they must all come together. The DA complained and supported the impeachment of the president. The DA complained about Paul Mashatile. The DA complained about all the corrupt people. All of a sudden, they've got nothing to say about those people. That is an indication that someone came to take out the brain and said, we're moving this direction and we don't want to be questioned. Why would all of a sudden the DA see holy and good leadership in the ANC when they've not throughout the years? Is because when the numbers put together, the Oppenheimers see that they will still continue to be in charge. So the ANC played with an opportunity to isolate imperialist forces and the white monopoly capital in South Africa. This was an opportune moment for progressive political formations to come together. The president says to me, we cannot form the GNU without a DA because we want a non-racial GNU. I asked him a question. Are you saying the ANC is not a non-racial organization? Because the ANC is a non-racial organization without the DA. So why would it say, when it comes to government, if there's no DA, we are not non-racial? But when they run their daily activities, including in their constitution, they are non-racial. I said to the president, there are white people in the ANC, in the EFF, in all the progressive formations. White people are found there. If it's about the question of non-racialism, we can still find white people from amongst ourselves. It's not the question of non-racialism. We are not opposed to white people. We are opposed to white supremacy. We are opposed to racism. We are opposed to Afrikanerdom. We are opposed to white monopoly capital. Any other progressive name that gets to be put forward by the president of a white person, Indian person, colored person, African person, as long as that is a progressive name, will support it. I said to the president, we voted for the DA in 2016, where you, comrades, were arrogantly defying and denying us an opportunity to work together in 2016. We said to you, let's work together. You said, no, we don't want to work with you in the arrogant manner you are doing. What did we do? We pulled out where the DA was defeating you. We folded our hands. And I said to him, to show you it's not a question of race, and don't leave here saying I'm anti-white people. In 2016, we refused to participate in municipalities with the DA led by a black person. It was led by my money. In Joburg, it was led by Mashaba. We still said, we don't care who are the faces. This organization is a tool for imperialism and for white monopoly capital. So it's not about color. It's about the party that represent backwardness, a party that is a racist organization, a party like Freedom Front that says part of its conditions to go into a coalition is that we must declare Orania as a white Afrikaner land. And you say to us, we must go and participate in such a coalition. We'll never do that. Remember, when you are in cabinet, once you are defeated in argument, those decisions are binding on you. As a disciplined member of cabinet, you must go and defend that Orania must be a land of the Afrikaners. We will not do that. We will rather die without occupying positions in government than to allow white supremacists and racists to thrive. Fighters, inclusive government should not mean a compromise on the principle. We are for inclusive government. That's why we said today, we are the first political party to say to the ANC, we will work with you. But because we understood the element of inclusive government and government of national unity. But it does not mean we must sleep with Zionists with our eyes open. We're not going to do that. We said to the people of Palestine, we said to the Muslim communities everywhere in South Africa, the vote and the victory of the EFF is a victory of the people of Palestine. Those Muslims who voted for the EFF, those Muslims who have voted for the ANC, what are you saying to them when you go immediately in bed with the people who have supported a genocide, the killing of innocent women and children, and we must close our eyes in the name of inclusive government and overlook humanity? We will not do that as the EFF. President Ramaphosa has always been a project of these people. From school, he went straight to work for Urban Foundation, to work for the Oppenheimers. President Ramaphosa formed NUM. He has never been a mine worker. He has never been underground. From school straight, he was given money with other colleagues to form an NUM that was funded directly by the Oppenheimers. How does NUM, which had a policy conference over the weekend, sing a song, Sebenza kanzima, we're not being paid money, we're paid peanuts, and then one of the people who joins them in singing that song is Pravin Gordhan. They even get addressed by Pravin Gordhan, who's in cahoots with these mines that are exploiting the mine workers. That's a huge contradiction. It can clearly indicate to you that these people do not mean anything they are saying. So this is the end of the ANC. It is not of our own making. The ANC is not dying because the EFF is growing. The ANC is dying a natural death. With or without Zuma, the projections were the way they are now. Before the formation of MKP, the research showed that the ANC is going to go below 50%. And Mbalula pulled it below 30%. At some point on the board, it went below 40% for real. So this is the end of it. Because you cannot say you want to change the property relations and you engage in the struggle for land, and then you go into cahoots with the people who are actually opposed to that struggle for the land. So South Africans, there is a story being peddled that we are flip-floppers because in 2016 we worked with DA and today we say we can't work with DA. Let's put it on record, lazy readers and lazy thinkers and people with a memory of a chicken, go and check those facts. We have never worked with the DA. We said we are going to fold our arms. because the ANC was arrogantly engaging us. We folded our arms and the DA dealt with them. And today you want to now turn the whole thing and say the EFF worked with the DA. We never worked with the DA. We never had an MMC under the DA government. We never had a speaker under the DA government. We never asked that which we're asking from the ANC, from the DA. This is an opportunity for progressive forces to align. When we say progressive forces, the people say you are saying black parties. There are no black parties. We are not a black party. We are a progressive force of the left. We are saying the progressive forces must align. I told the president very clear that maybe sometimes this thing rings nicely in your ear when the DA says we'll work only with the ANC of Ramaphosa. It's not true. The ANC of Ramaphosa lost in Tshwane, in Joburg, in Tekwini, in Ikuruleni, and PE. Why didn't the DA offer the president what he is offering them now? Why didn't the DA say there is no outright winner? Come ANC of Ramaphosa, let's work together in Tshwane. If this situation we're in now was the DA in this situation with 40% and Freedom Front with 11% and ACDP with 5%, we're not going to be talking these things we're talking. They would have united and isolated all the progressive forces. And I'm not speculating. I'm telling you facts. Go and check in Tshwane, where the DA has got no outright majority. Did it invite the ANC of Ramaphosa because they can only work with the ANC of Ramaphosa? The ANC is under Ramaphosa now, in Tshwane, in Joburg, in Ikuruleni. Why is the DA not inviting him? It is because Ramaphosa suffers from inferiority. He cannot work without white supervision. To invite the DA is to invite supervisors. It's not to invite progressive white people to come and join hands with us to rebuild South Africa. So we reject this government with everything it deserves, for as long as it puts in white supremacists, it puts in Afrikanerdom, it puts in colonialism and imperialism, will not be part of the neo-colonial government. Comrades and everybody else who seek to persuade us otherwise, we are making a plea, leave us alone. If this is our natural death, let us die with our boots on.
Thank you, President. We're going to do another round, and hopefully it's the last round. EWN sitting right here in the front. 1, 2, 3, Sunday World. 4, Kaya. I saw you. 5, Newsroom. 6, with the overall, the red, no, it's not quite a red overall. Number 6. Number 1.
Also.
I'm Taviso Goba from Eyewitness News. I know, Mr. Malema, you addressed that the ANC should stop purging your MMCs in some municipalities. I just want to know, what is the future of your provincial Gauteng chairperson, Kululeko Dunga? Is he going to remain in Ekurhuleni, or is he going to go back to the, or is he going to go to the provincial legislature? Thank you.
Good evening, Paul Vecchiato from Bloomberg. If your suggestion of taking up certain positions by party members in the legislature isn't met, will you be prepared at looking at doing something of forming an opposition party alliance, for want of a better term, against the ANC/DA government, so, and with the EFF becoming the leader of that opposition bloc or alliance? Thank you.
Number 3.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mawande. I work for the Sunday World. Mr. Malema, as it relates to the purging, as you put it, of the EFF MMCs, as we saw in Egoruleni yesterday, and there's already a talk that the ANC has taken a decision that it will divorce the EFF in Egoruleni as well as Johannesburg. And in line with what you are saying, that you've requested that be put to a stop. If that doesn't happen, what is the strategy of the EFF as it relates to that? And also, in Gauteng as well, is the EFF willing to support Mr. Panyaza Rosufi to return as the Premier of Gauteng? We saw that he's been shortlisted as the Premier candidate of the ANC in that province. Since you've been working well with the ANC under Mr. Lusufi in that particular province of Gauteng. About KZN, you say that you will support the MKP to govern in that province because they got majority of the votes. The question then becomes, is it an informal support, or do you have a formal agreement with the MK party? And if you do have a formal agreement, what are the details of that agreement? Do you share the executive, or do you want to participate in the provincial legislature? Thank you very much.
Number 4 was next, Kaya.
Good evening, Mr. Malema. Katleo Sohoto from Kaya 959. Just your sense on what you make of some of the MK internal leadership challenges, especially as we've seen the expelled member, Mr. Jabulani Kumalo, losing his court bids. In your talks with the party, the weight of those internal challenges, how does it affect those possible conversations that you're having with them?
And then number 5 is all the way over here.
Evening, it's Zianda Ngobo from Newsroom Africa. My question is similar to that of Bloomberg's. If the ANC then rejects this proposal that you put on the table with the president today, what does that mean in terms of your ability to plan for 2026 local government elections? Would it also mean that you would have overplayed your hand if some of your constituency believes that you may have not actually put the best offer on the table, and linked to what you've touched on briefly, Mr. Malema, when it comes to the prospects of growth for the organization? Thank you.
And number 6, just behind.
Hi, my name is Bulelani from SABC. Also, just linked to what Paul has asked. If your demand for the position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker is not met by the ANC, will you be posting a presidential candidate during the vote? And secondly, will you be actively lobbying some of the ANC MPs who are allegedly not in support of the ANC-DA coalition to vote with your candidate? Thank you.
President?
Thank you very much. The MMC of EFF in Ekurhuleni Dunga he remains a councillor of the EFF in Ekurhuleni, and if we are not finding each other with the president, we are going to withdraw all our MMCs in all areas where we are participating with the ANC. So if by this evening Dunga is not reappointed as the MMC of Finance, all our MMCs in Johannesburg, in Mohale City, in PE, in Ekurhuleni, all of them are going to step down. We're not scared of a fight. They want to bring it on, we're ready for it. And we're not disparate for positions, we have never been. We are here to make a contribution. I just saw this as muddying the waters during the most critical period where we have to find each other. A person goes and removes an MMC at night without even engaging the leadership of the EFF. We have had a very good working relationship with the leadership of the ANC in Gauteng. We have had direct communication with the chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng and the secretary. But since the announcement that they are going to work with the DA, those guys have completely blocked us from any form of communication. So don't think you can threaten the EFF by taking away MMCs. We will never be shaken by such things. We are aware that they say they are going to unplug us. We cannot be unplugged by fools. We are going to withdraw ourselves. We're not desperate, and we're going to remain. There is no Dunga who's going to any legislature. He's going to be a councillor, and he's going to fight from the opposition benches in the Ekurhuleni municipality. And the same goes for all of them. So the deputy president must start preparing resignation letters for all of them. That once I meet the president, they say they are not willing to accommodate it tonight, not tomorrow, tonight. Then we know the deal is off. And we can as well just walk away. We're not like Muzwandile Masina, who was desperate till now, bitter to the end, wanting to be a mayor at all costs. So we're not those kind of people who are here for position. South Africa, we have made contribution to the struggle of South Africa at an early age. And it doesn't mean we must exit through ministerial positions or anything. We can exit at any time if the South Africans wish so. But you cannot do away with the kind of contribution we've made in the struggle for the total liberation of our people in South Africa. So be rest assured, we cannot be intimidated by positions. Positions are never anything. Listen to all these ex-prisoners, gangsters, and all of them, how they negotiate. They tell you position from when they enter the gate. No principles, no nothing. The DA has got no principal agreements with the ANC. They've agreed on positions. They actually told him that we want 1, 2, 3, 4 departments, and those departments must be exclusively for us, and you must not interfere. And he says he has refused. He said, no, we can agree on ministries as to which ones, that should be left to the president. And there's no ministry that can be exclusively for white people of the DA. Because cabinet ministry means a collective leadership. So it can be that there are certain departments which are not accountable to the president. At least if he's honest by that, then we know that there's already a contestation. Right at the beginning, they can't find one another. So let's allow that process to unfold. If the DA goes into government, and this must be known to all of you, if the DA goes into government, the official opposition is MKP. That's what you must know. That's how it works. There's no one who's going to be in government and still be an official opposition. And MKP and ourselves were together. We shall be official opposition together. We'll help each other in that role together. We are more experienced than them. We've been here. And we've got a cordial relationship with them. So even when we are chairpersons of the committees or speakers, we remain opposition. It is allowed. They can't say you are now a chairperson of a committee, you can't be an opposition party. No. The IFP was the chairperson of SCOPA, and it remained an opposition party. So our acceptance of this responsibility, if Veronica becomes a speaker, it doesn't mean anything about EFF being an opposition. It remains an opposition party opposed to the current government. There's no need, really. The people of South Africa must swallow what they've decided to chew. And they decided to chew 40% of the ANC. So why should you field a presidential candidate for what? That's what they said they want. Why do they go and make decisions and hope someone is going to rescue them from the other side? It's their own decision. They chose load shedding. They chose Ramaphosa. They chose the highest level of unemployment. They chose racism. That's what they chose. So if the ANC fails to come together with progressive formations, we are prepared to sit back. But let's tell you, we'll fully participate in this parliament. And this time around, we have taken a decision not to play a role of a disruption, of being robust, of engaging to a point where we follow up that which was rejected illegally in parliament through peaceful protest on the streets. You will never see us on the stage. You'll never see us fighting with any bouncer, anything of that sort. We are here as a 10-year-old organization with mature parliamentary politics, well experienced, to make sure that the views of those who voted for us are well represented. From now onwards, when you say there is a racist at our work, we check the historical tweeting of yours. If you have been tweeting ANC, DA, go and fight with those white people alone. We are now representing our own people who have been supporting us. Skatel manje. Skatel. We are with our people. And let me reassure you, this party is going to grow. This deal is the best deal you can ever think of. We did this deal almost the same in 2016. What happened after 2016? We increased our votes in 2019. We moved from 25 members of parliament to 44 members of parliament. So we have never engaged in a deal that is detriment to the growth of the EFF. We've always made calculations as to how do we grow our movement. So we are well within our right. We have not lost our support. The base that we started with in 2014 were not there. Anyone who says we are back there is not true. We are not in 2014. We have just lost some few seats and we are going to bounce back very strongly in 2026, and we are going to work in a focused manner. If you go and look at the list of the EFF now, in the legislatures, in the national parliament, in the NCOP, and look at where those people are coming from, we no longer put people who come from constituencies that don't vote for EFF. We are now choosing people who are choosing the EFF. We are a national organization. We'll find footprint everywhere. But we're not going to have, for instance, over-representation of people of KwaZulu-Natal in this parliament when they've not given us anything. They will get what is proportionate to what they gave us in these elections. And that applies to everyone. So we need to make sure that we all, if we need the assistance of the EFF, let's vote for the EFF. After the election, someone sends me a video of a community drinking water from a well. A well is like a hole. So they take water with a cup, put in a bucket. They say, no, can you do borehole for these people? Then I said, that's fine, we'll do a borehole. Send me the VD results of that voting station. And then they said, ANC, so why are you sending me this? Go where you voted. You don't know where you voted. Why are you coming to me? So when a water comes from a well, it tells you that there's too much water underground. Even when you drill a borehole, you are not going to struggle. Yet an ANC councillor does not drill a borehole. The ANC municipality does not drill a borehole. The ANC government does not drill a borehole. The EFF must go and drill a borehole. No, we now know the VDs that have voted for the EFF, and those are the people who are going to service. It doesn't mean we can't grow our base into the other constituencies, but as a party, you need to have your priorities right. Otherwise, you are going to undermine your growth. You are going to invest your resources where there are no dividends. We need dividends now. I'm really pleading, whether we like MKP or we don't like MKP, if you want peace in KwaZulu-Natal, which is not going to be instigated by MKP, which is not going to be instigated by EFF, that violence, the people are going to rise. If you go against the wish, you know, in KZN is West, the MKP get 45%. The second party gets 18%. And you still think you can overlook that party. I told President Cyril Ramaphosa, I said, your own rules on coalition say a party with the highest number must be the one that lead. Please allow MKP to lead. Do not undermine the voice of the people of KwaZulu-Natal if we respect democracy. And we make that plea that please allow MKP to lead in KwaZulu-Natal. We are not in any formal agreement with them. We are not for any cabinet position in KwaZulu-Natal. We are not for any speaker. We are not for anything. When we get invited, only then we look at what are the nitty-gritties of such an invitation. We have never had such a discussion with MKP. We are supporting MKP in KwaZulu-Natal from a principled point of view that says the party with the majority must be the one that lead. The DA, these hypocrites, have been advocating for that. When they've refused to give Action SA mayorship, when they refused to give their partners mayorship, they always said, we are the one with the highest number, and therefore we can't give you the mayorship. What has changed in KwaZulu-Natal? Why is the DA not applying the same principle? Why is the ANC not applying the same principle? So we are going to stick to this principle as the EFF. Be rest assured, fellow South Africans, the MKP will overcome its internal leadership squabbles. It comes with the territory. There is no single organization that was formed and never faced leadership challenges. There was Mutletama here, who had to run all over the streets of Cape Town being chased by Bernard Joseph. So what I say, we had our own share, and look at us now. We are in a much more stable way. So we are really not bothered by some potential infiltration on the leadership of MKP, given President Zuma's experience and given those guys that we're negotiating with, Abu Natin Tleko, Abu former SARS, Tom Moyane, they are well-experienced people. Surely they should be knowing how to deal with potential internal leadership squabbles. As to what MKP stands for, what do they do and all of that, we are not the spokesperson of the MKP. Let them do whatever they want to do. The people chose them. And it's not only in KwaZulu-Natal. It's in South Africa. That's why I say to you, if the DA goes into government, MKP is the official opposition. Therefore, you want official statement on any issue, you are going to have to drive to Nkandla, like you did, to go and get official reaction of MKP, because it looks like the headquarters is there. So there's nothing we can do. The people of South Africa chose that. And all we can do as people who respect democratic principles is to stick to exactly that. So the EFF is not in any formal agreement, is not getting any executive position from MKP, and it hopes that MKP internal squabbles are just an irritation for a party that is new. So within a short space of time, we hope they will be able to overcome whatever difficulties they are confronted with. What we are interested in is to work with a solid party in the National Parliament and in the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal, in the legislature of Gauteng. This part of engagement we're having with the ANC, the same principles applies everywhere. If they are going in bed with the DA in Gauteng, they must not count us in. Panyaza and TK, through their rightful conscience, they got defeated here. They've been very clear of what needs to happen. But they're a provincial structure from a fragmented organization, a highly divided organization, and if their voice is overpowered, there's nothing we can do. By the way, the DA coalition failed in the NEC. They defeated the DA coalition in the NEC. This is what happens now, these days, how the ANC is run in a criminal mafia style. They allow people to speak. Then they say, let's adjourn, the president is going to give a summary. Then what they do, they call you guys in. Then the president speaks in front of you. Those on the floor who feel that this is not the summary of the meeting, it's not a true reflection of what transpired in the meeting, they've got no platform to object to that because the media is already in. That thing Cyril was doing, I was in the NEC of the ANC. Zuma used to give, you know what the president of the ANC do? They come with a written political overview and they come with a written closing remarks. They come with 2 speeches. So you all speak. Then at the end they read that speech as if you never said anything. In that NEC where I was sitting, there was Tokyo Sowale. It was my job and Tokyo Sowale's job. When the president summarizes wrongly, Tokyo will call point of order in the NEC and say, that is not the summary of our meeting. Balaga will say, Comrade Tokyo, the meeting is closed. The president said, no, we can't allow that. We reopen that meeting and say, this is not a true reflection of what happened. What the president said is not a true reflection of what happened in the NEC. And that is going to paralyze that organization. That is going to further divide that organization. That's what led to Ngugai Toby resigning in the Eastern Cape. That this is not what we agreed on. And I must now sit here with my right conscience and tell my people to go and vote for DA when I know this was not a true reflection of the meeting. So, but that is their own internal problems. So all I'm saying is, it's not like this matter of the DA is enjoying the popular narrative even internally in the ANC. It's a lie. It's News 24, is that foundation of the Oppenheimers, Brandhurst, that says, no, this is a popular view or the markets and all of that. We chose the markets for 30 years. Look at us now. The president says, no, we've done this in 1994 under Madiba, and we can do the same. And look at us, we're able to neutralize these people. I said to him, no. Our anger today as the youth of South Africa is, you guys gave a lot in Codesa and in 1994. The National Party came in, neutralized you, made you to adopt a constitution that is going to restrict you. When they knew they had you at the corner, they pulled out of the coalition. You are not going to ask me to repeat your mistake of 1994. I'm not coming to that past. And easy.